Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly Lunch and Learn. Today, we're talking about moving forward no matter what is going on in your life and how to get out of the trap of hesitation so you can make decisions with confidence and ease. So, I'd like to know if you would like to know what to do when there's a fork in the road. It's like I have two options. They both sound juicy, but I'm tired of humming and hawing. I've done that before. I've hummed and hawed for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe for an hour, for a day, or even for a week. So many of us, when we get in that state when we don't know what to do, we just come to a standstill and we stop moving. So do you want to say yes or no without hesitation? Just keep moving forward in spite of obstacles. So ultimately, when you start doing this, you're going to be able to clear the path. It's almost like when you clean your house or when you do yard work for the first time in the season. You clear your yard, you have this beautiful thing that you look at each day, but there's no weeds, the lawn is mowed, everything is beautifully landscaped, and then there's not as much work to do after the fact. So when you take the time to really learn a good strategy and get a plan in place, you can start making really good decisions without having to hesitate, with complete confidence, with ease, knowing it's moving you forward in your life. Okay, so let me know where you're coming in from, and if you're tuning in by replay, type in replay in the chat. If it is your first time in here, type in first time in the chat. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Larissa McCouch. I'm an author, speaker, and CEO of Larissa McCouch Coaching, and I empower people to really bridge the gap between dreaming and the doing so they can create an impact and the financial abundance that they really want in their lives in a really simple, powerful, results-driven way. Now, my team and I, we like to rock the boat, and sometimes that can be uncomfortable. However, it is what's required for you to radically transform your life and claim your future. So there was a client a while back that called me one day, and I was just thinking about that when I was really titling this talk about never hesitate again, because she called me and she was in this frantic panic that she didn't know what to do. She had a job offer. She's like, should I take it? Should I not? It's my dream job. However, I found every reason not to go ahead with it, and it was consuming her life. She just kept coming up with stories in one direction and in another, and she wasn't able to make a decision. She saw benefits in both and she saw disadvantages in both, and she ultimately just got to a standstill before opportunity left. Now, she was crying, but after we had a conversation, we realized this was a pattern in her life. And one of the most common things I hear from a lot of people is, I just don't know what to do. Part of me wants this, part of me doesn't. Part of me is enthusiastic, but part of me is really afraid. Like, what if things go wrong? What if I make a mistake? What if I make the wrong decision? And they spend hours dwelling on it and adding stress and anxiety to their lives. So you essentially get in a tailspin. And if you've ever been there before, let me know if you can relate, okay? So we had a quick conversation, and it's always easier to see things in others. It's always easier for others to see things in you than you can yourself, especially when you're in that tailspin. And so I was able to help her reframe things and put it in a different perspective and really get her off the fence so she could make a quick decision with confidence and ease. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have time to spin my wheels. I get into moments where I spin for a little while, but a little while means maybe an hour, maybe a day, maybe a couple days at most. But these days, I have gotten very good at making quick decisions immediately. Even last night, I made a really big decision, and I took action on it, and I just jumped. I stayed up later than I wanted to, but it was the right thing to do, and it was so in alignment with what I needed. And when opportunity knocks, you've got to jump. Now, I know I have big dreams. I know I have big goals. I'm assuming you do too. And there is really, truly so much abundance around you and ready for the taking. And if you are not taking advantage of that, then you want to start doing that faster and faster and faster. Okay? Because when opportunity knocks, it might knock once, it might knock twice, it might knock 3 times. And eventually, if you don't start listening to those signs, it's going to stop. Now, why am I telling you this? Because your job in this world is to listen to the signs from the universe and then become a master decision maker so you can take advantage of them. Okay? And sometimes when we don't know what to do, it's because we're asking ourselves the wrong question. So in order to be able to ask ourselves the right question, there are a couple things that you need to know. First and foremost, you need to have a goal. You've got to have a goal. Now, this needs to be something that you want more than anything. It needs to be juicy. It needs to be compelling. It needs to be exciting for you. It needs to be highly, highly motivating. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have that shiny star you're aiming for, then how can you get it? You can't get it. So your job is to have a goal and go for it. Really, really know exactly where you're going in life. Okay. And there's a lot of ways we can crystallize this and really identify the right goal for you. So if that's something you need help with, that's something we can totally help you with. So step one is you've got to have a goal. Step two is you've got to know your why. You need to know your reason for getting out of bed in the morning. You need to know your reason for pursuing the goal. And this reason's got to be bigger than you and your excuses. And when you really look at it, ultimately, it's going to be some form of helping people. Now, I searched for my why for nearly 20 years. I was like, oh my goodness, what's my purpose in life? What's my why? And I really got hung up on this. And then I remember I was teaching. I used to be a Pilates instructor, and I was in a training that I was teaching, and we were asking people, like, why did you get in this business? What is your motivation? Like, why do you want to be here? And it was a group of new Pilates students, and every single one of them, they said, because I want to help people, because I want to help people, because I want to help people. Some of them had slightly different variations or words for it. Ultimately, it was because they wanted to help people. And that was the moment where I realized we are making it way too complicated, because all of our whys are really about contribution and helping people in some capacity. So if you could really appreciate that and take it for what it's worth, you will get over the know your why factor much, much faster. For me, getting more specific, it was to teach. My purpose is to teach in order to help people, right? And so you don't need to spend 2 decades looking for it like I did. I have something in my eye. But you've got to have your goal, and you have to know your why. You have to know your motivation and your compelling reason to get out of bed. Like, what is helping people going to get you? Why do you want to help people? Why do you want to make an impact in the world? Why do you want to pursue your dreams? Keep asking yourself why? And if you dig deep enough, eventually you'll come to that root cause. And it'll be something that you're already doing. It'll be something that you can't help but do. You have to eat, sleep, and breathe it, and you are already living it. That's the thing. Sometimes it's so obvious to you that you get hung up on it. Okay. So we also have a document for that one as well, to really uncover your why in a different way. So first step is you've got to have a goal. Second step is you've got to know your why. And then the third step is you need to know your standards and have rules for yourself. Okay. If you don't have standards or rules or guidelines for yourself, then you're going to be spinning your wheels, not knowing whether it's a good decision or not. Okay. When you make advanced decision making, you've already made the decision before a challenge could arise. So I take my kids to school every morning. Someone calls and says, hey, I'd like to have a client call at 8 a.m. And you're like, I'm not available. End of story. You take your kids to school in the morning. That decision has already been made. It's easy to say, no, you're not available. Okay. And so when you have rules for yourself, especially for your calendar, for your time, for how you spend your money, for how you invest your money, for what kinds of causes you donate to, when you really set those standards for yourself and who you are and who you want to be, things start to work out in different ways, okay? You're going to start getting more clear on not just what you want, but how you want to get there, right? The rules and standards you have are some of the stepping stones along the way that are gonna help you make those choices. It's going to help you craft your business. It's going to help you dress for the day. It's going to help you interact with people in a different way, because you're already going to pre-think how you want that to be in your life. Now, those are the three things that are absolutely fundamental that you need in order to be able to make a decision. Yes, so we've got have a goal. Step 2 is have a purpose. And step 3 is know your standards. And oh, I see a first time from Alberta. So welcome to our talk. I don't see your name on my platform. So if you give StreamYard permission to see your name, then I will be able to see it over here. So thanks for joining us. Now, this is a really powerful strategy that I learned from Dr. Kim Redman in my neurolinguistic programming designation training. So we were sitting in training, and this is something she brings up quite often, and it's actually a strategic decision-making model. I've taught it many times. I use it many times, and I think people really underestimate the power of what this is and what these questions are. Now, this is a model that's used by the military, that's used by governments, that's used by many institutions to make good strategic decisions. And strategic decisions are bigger thinking. They're in alignment with something bigger. When you're at a lower level and you're getting tactical, you're not going to be thinking and moving your vision forward. So the first question you ask yourself is, does it fall in line with your goal or not? If not, don't do it. So let's say you have a decision to make. Let's say you are saving up for a new vacation and your phone cracks, okay? And you're also eligible for an upgrade, but you're saving up for a new vacation, or for another vacation. And you're going to ask yourself, will getting a new phone get me closer to or further from my goal? Right? Simple question. And if it gets you closer to your goal, you go do it. If it doesn't get you further from your goal, you don't. Okay? So if it does get you closer to your goal, you ask another question. So if you're saving for a vacation and you have a phone that you want, because there's an opportunity to upgrade, it does fall in line with your goal. Okay, so because you'll have a beautiful phone to take pictures with, and you're going to be able to create more memories. This new phone has more space. So part of that goal, right, this big vacation that you're saving for, does fall in line with your phone. The second question is, do you have it to give? Do you have the time, the money, and the energy? Okay, so in this case, maybe you have the time available. Maybe you don't have the money. Maybe you do have the energy. So if you don't have it in you to give, you don't go forward. You don't buy the phone. If you do have it in you to give, right? If you do have the time, money, and energy, and you're willing to make the time, money, and energy, then you can go forward. If not, you basically stop and you don't go forward. You find another solution. Now, if you are able to move ahead, you want to look at what circumstances. So maybe you're going to buy the phone in full. Maybe you're going to purchase it on a payment plan, because if you're saving for a vacation, you may not want to buy it outright. So however you want to move forward, you've got to ask yourself these questions. If you have opportunity, if you ask yourself, does it fall in line with my goal or not? If so, move forward to the next question. If not, don't do it. Second question is, do you have it in you to give? If so, you can move on to the next question. If not, then you don't do it. And if you have it in you to give, under what circumstances? So you've got to decide under what circumstances you're willing to give it. And if those circumstances don't work, you don't complete it. And if they do work, under what circumstances you decide, then you move forward with it. Okay, and it's a really simple way to take things out of your head and get out of that mental loop and to start becoming really practical with your decisions. It takes the emotion out of it. Either way, because sometimes we get really excited about decisions and really down on decisions. And when you literally, especially if you write these questions down, put them on paper, they become really, really powerful. So this is the type of model that we've covered several times in our free workshops. We've covered it many, many times with clients, something we bring up over and over and over again. It's a basic decision-making model that really does help you frame things in a way to know whether they're going to make sense for you or not. You will never hesitate again if you know your goal, if you know why you're doing it, if you have standards for yourself, and then you follow this decision-making model. Easy peasy. So 4 steps, make sure to do them. And if you want to learn more about how to really implement something like this decision-making model, or if you feel like you want more support. It sounds simple when we talk about it, but I know I've always turned to other people for guidance for things, especially when I'm learning something new. So if you are looking for some more guidance on that, then my team and I are happy to connect with you and show you how we could provide that. So feel free to reach out by DM to myself or anyone else on my team, or even pop a comment in the chat that says, want more info. So you have yourselves a beautiful day, and I will see you guys again next week. Bye for now.